Hello and welcome to Borrow My Belief, a podcast that's designed to inspire you to live from your heart and follow your soul. And today I've got a beautiful guest, White Mulberry, somebody I've known for a year, and I think it's fair to say I've got to know you quite well. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So Laura, the reason we're here today is to talk about the White Mulberry, which is your soul project. But first of all, how about you introduce yourself, just a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so where to start? So I'm Laura, and I'm 50 this year, and I've just had a big birthday this year, and it's been a really big sort of year of change for me, from one sort of chapter of my life into another chapter of my life. And there's been a lot of growth, a lot of sort of spiritual development, a lot of pain, a lot of, uncomfortable moments as well. But I feel I've really made some progress this year, which is great. The White Mulberry, it's funny actually. I'd just like to say that I didn't name the project after my name. I chose my new surname from the project, but that's another story. But the White Mulberry is basically it's a community network project that aims to connect people working in the same vein. That vein being the aim being to raise collective consciousness and to aid human development, I suppose, from a very personal level up to a more community level and onwards. But I think, that all sort of development of all kinds, from a community level up to, sort of a larger level, it all starts with the individual. And I think that's what the projects within the White Mulberry are aiming to do. They're aiming to sort of help people at a personal level develop themselves and move themselves up to that next level so that they can connect with like-minded people who've got similar projects with a similar goal, so that we can all help each other out, really. Things are so much easier when you've got collaborators on board, I have found personally. So, going it alone is quite isolating. It's hard, it's time consuming, there's never enough of you to go around. So if you can reach out to other people who have similar goals, it makes life a lot easier. And also other people have great ideas that you might not have thought of to bring to the pot, and sometimes that's just the impetus you need to take your idea over the line.
I've written loads of notes, Laura. I know exactly where we're going with this podcast. Right. So I just want to say to the viewers, for a guest to come on my podcast, I don't give them questions, and it can be quite unnerving because we do it intuitively. And so I want to thank you for allowing me to do this. And there's so much gold in your story. And just want to start off with that initiation. There's going to be women who are going to be watching this podcast who've heard you say that you turned 50 this year. And I remember when I turned 50, and it really is quite the initiation. You might be going through menopause, perimenopause, hormones, things are happening. And more I'm hearing about women who've changed their story. I don't know, maybe for some the kids have grown up, maybe for others they've got a career and it's not fulfilling them quite as much. It can be different for each person, but it does seem like a time of initiation. And it really is, for me at least anyway, and I've witnessed you and many others, an inner journey. And I think in order personally for your own soul offering to be launched out into the world, you have to go inwards. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would definitely. It's been my inner journey has fueled what's happened on the outside for me. So it's fueled my ideas towards the project and everything, and the direction that's taken. So, and it wouldn't have happened if the life events that I've experienced over the last 2 years. So, very briefly, not going to dwell on it, but, going through a divorce and setting up my new life and all that kind of thing has given me the space and the opportunity to meet other like-minded people and really expand and it's given me the freedom to really explore my passions and what I'm interested in and what I want to do and what I want to create long term. So yeah, you're right about it being an initiation. It's a bit of a baptism of fire, to be quite honest. It's more than initiation. It's like a black tunnel sometimes, and it's only quite, as you get all the way in, then you suddenly start to see the light at the end of it and go, oh right, okay, that's where this is going.
And worth it. I remember saying to somebody that I think the entrepreneurial journey, if you want to call it entrepreneurial, is quite the spiritual journey, as in to create the thing that is of you. You have to face yourself. I was in sales for 30 years selling another person's product and performed really well, and then when it came to selling my own product, I couldn't understand why it was so difficult, and over time I started to realise it's because I'm selling me. My project is me.
And that's it.
And having to look at myself.
And if your connection with yourself is perhaps a little bit wobbly and you need to sort of cement that a little bit more, and I don't know, a lot of people I think our age need to learn to love themselves a little bit more.
Yep, it's a big one.
Yeah, it's a really big one. So that's what gives you the confidence to be able to sort of push your offering out there.
Yeah.
So it comes from love of yourself, and then the confidence that you build in what it is you're offering. And then because you've got that love of yourself behind you, you feel much more comfortable with pushing it out there and sharing it with everybody. So yeah, it's a real mixture of personal growth and, defining your offering and mixing the two so that you can really connect with people.
What's great about your project, actually, particularly, is you've been through that journey, you recognise that, and I'm going to lead into, we'll know what your project is by the end of this podcast. Right. You are actually creating a community and supporting them who will all be going through that. And you already mentioned that sometimes we get ideas when we're with one another, we support one another. Only yesterday, the day before I'm recording this, did something come up with me, and we were in a co-working space, and I got support from other people that are like-minded, for example.
Yeah.
So you're actually creating that community where we can bounce off one another, we can trust one another, and like you said, raising consciousness.
Yeah.
That's your dream, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's to get everybody vibing a little bit higher than they would on their own, because we get stuck in our own little feedback loops, I think, and we go round and round in circles and nothing ever fresh comes in. So I think to be sat with a bunch of people who have the same ultimate goal as you, but maybe approach it in a slightly different way, they're going to bring different ideas to the field and kind of re-inspire you and light your fire up.
And I know at times it's felt a bit overwhelming for you because it's huge and you've had to break that down, and you've really had to come to yourself and really unpick it all and get to the stage you're at now. And I think it's really exciting, the stage you're at now. It's been really lovely to watch you over the last year to get to this. You've got your website, which we'll put in the link.
Yeah.
You've got your vision, which is moving and changing. And now you're at a place to start bringing it all together. So, and you're starting with one particular project, aren't you, that I know means loads to you.
Yeah.
And it's called Indigo Wings.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And I think you could talk for ages on this, so I'm going to let you just
could.
go for it.
I probably could. Yeah, it's something I'm really, really excited about. It's amazing actually, because I think with the White Mulberry and stuff, I was kind of approaching that the wrong way round, and I was kind of thinking, right, okay, I need to have the network set up first, and then I can bring people on board and sort of feed their projects and promote their projects and stuff like that. But actually I think I got it the wrong way round. So I've now discovered there's this project that I'm really passionate about, that I'm working with a lady called Lou, who you've already podcasted actually.
Yep.
So we're working together on this project called Indigo Wings, and I think actually that's what's going to be the catalyst behind launching the White Mulberry. So it's kind of worked in a bit of a weird mutual way. But Indigo Wings essentially is a project that was inspired by a podcast called The Telepathy Tapes, which was kind of a big thing. Well, it's still a really big thing, but it was launched about a year ago by a woman called Kai Dickens and her team. And so in a nutshell, they did a massive investigation into the lives of autistic people who are non-verbal, so they're non-speaking, and they interviewed an awful lot of families who had non-verbal autistic members of their family who they were caring for. And a lot of the time, you know, these kids or young adults would be like 17 to 20, that kind of thing, and they've never communicated verbally with members of their family. And they've been told by the medical profession that, you know, there's nobody in there. You'll never communicate with your son or your daughter or whatever, which is heartbreaking, you know, for a parent to actually hear that from somebody of the medical profession, which is, let's face it, we tend to sort of accept what the medical profession say as read wrongly a lot of the time. But, you know, we put such faith in the medical profession and we always think they're right and everything, but we tend to forget about, you know, parents' intuition and their connection with their children and that bond that they have. And Kai Dickens was finding that parents were absolutely convinced, they knew that their child was trying to communicate with them on some level, but they couldn't quite figure out how they were doing it because they weren't speaking to them. And these kids quite often have quite limited motor skills, so they weren't really doing anything physically either. But it was noises, it was sounds. They could tell they were trying to communicate something, but there was just not quite the vehicle there for them to have that sense of communication. So, and then she was talking to a family who said, you know, actually, you know, I think there's a little bit of telepathy there. She's like, I know this is a bit way out, but I think actually my child communicates with me telepathically, or can at least read my mind, even if I can't send thoughts back. And there was a funny sort of anecdote about a kid who, you know, his mum had taken him shopping and she'd bought a load of Easter eggs or something like that because it was Easter, and she'd sort of left him in the car while she unpacked the shopping, took all the shopping in the car and hid the Easter eggs because she knew that he'd just go straight to where they were and just scoff them all, basically. So she left him in the car while she hid them, and then when this kid came into the house, it was like, he knew exactly where they were, went straight to the place where she'd hidden them and started eating them. And she was just like, how did you know they were there? I hid them. I left you in the car while I hid them, specifically for this reason. So she knew that something was going on. Like this, her son or daughter, I can't remember if it was a boy or girl now, it was ages ago I listened to that episode, but she knew that there was some kind of communication going on there, or her child could somehow read her mind or knew what she'd been up to, knew what she'd been doing and stuff. And it was like, okay, that clearly there's somebody in there. Clearly the medical professionals are wrong. You know, this needs investigating. So I think Kai Dickens basically found a few people that had stories like this and ran with it and investigated it. And it's so inspirational. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
These kids have got phenomenal sight abilities and gifts and knowledge and wisdom that they could share with the world, which could really, really benefit humankind in general.
Yeah.
And they've been stuck inside these bodies that limit their communication for so long. And now, you know, Kai and her team are trying to find ways to enable them to communicate that will be accepted by the medical professionals and the scientific community. Because up until now, the scientific community have presumed incompetence, which is the phrase that's used a lot. And what we need to do is presume competence and find a way to get what's inside their heads out so that other people can understand them and communicate with them. Yeah. So I've waffled a bit, but
I told you to talk
I could go on forever.
So just to round this little bit off. So first of all, I did interview Lou, and it was 2 episodes ago. I can't actually remember. I think that was episode 39, but it's 2 episodes ago. If you want to go and check it out, I'll pop it in the link as well. Secondly, I've recommended the telepathy tapes from my YouTube channel. So if anyone wants to go and watch them, there's a recommendation at the bottom of my profile.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about the working space that you're looking at. You're looking at creating a White Mulberry hub in Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Well, you're not 100% sure it's Glastonbury yet, but we do have community here. Yeah. Community where Lou will be able to bring people and do things with these children, but also it'll be a co-working space, and it will be the physical birth of I've got chills when I'm saying this. It will be the physical birth of your White Mulberry project as well as it being online.
it's going to be more based about Indigo Wings, I think. I mean, the building itself will be a White Mulberry hub, but the White Mulberry hubs are basically just buildings where these amazing projects can take place. It's about the projects, really.
Yeah.
So Indigo Wings is going to be based in a White Mulberry hub, and then that building will be an inclusivity space for people with autism and learning differences who are non-verbal to come with their carers and be welcomed and feel at home and relaxed, and it's a safe space for them to explore different ways of communicating, and just to feel accepted, in a space where there are other people with similar issues and similar communication issues, and their carers can connect as well. So the families of these people can connect and sort of share stories and share tips and things that they've discovered that help and things like that as well. So it's really like a real communication connectivity hub for these people and their families to come and explore self-expression in a really safe, nurturing place. And we're hoping to get training where what we'd like to do is train a lot of people up to become communication facilitators, so that we can help get the expression going, and get the communication going.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
And what a great way for everything to be born, like you said.
Yeah, that's it. Hopefully, the two projects will be mutually beneficial to each other, so I can promote, Indigo Wings through the White Mulberry network. And obviously the Indigo Wings project is going to hopefully become quite well known, and then that will help the White Mulberry project as well. And then obviously everybody that's a member of the White Mulberry will benefit from that. And it's just going to be a mutually beneficial arrangement, hopefully. But how fantastic. The thing I'm really, really excited about is just, the most important thing is just helping these non-speaking community have a voice at last, and really just get their voice and their wisdom and whatever it is they want to share out there.
And I'm sure you'll have other projects that are exciting as well moving forward.
It's just the start.
I want to talk about synchronicity and life, and how I've noticed, I'm older than you, and I look back now and I see how everything was always working out a certain way, and how this thing led to that thing, and even though it was 10 years ago, and I'm thinking about your journey, and we're sat here in the Dragonfly, which is one of your projects, and I live here at the moment, and the Dragonfly is an Airbnb, and this and other things, properties that you've got, have created a lifestyle which has not been easy for you to create, which has given you freedom and given you the skills so that you can now do this. And to me, it seems like you must have followed some kind of instinct somewhere along the line to get you to this place. You must have looked around you at some point and gone, I need to go on that path, because it's leading me somewhere. But maybe a little bit blindly, you wouldn't have known it was leading you to this.
Totally. I mean, I would argue that actually sometimes it happens the opposite way around. So things happen in a kind of weird way, and you think, oh, well, that's a bit odd. And then, it's only a few months down the line, you look back on it and you think, oh, that's why that happened and that odd, and now I see where that was going, but quite often it's only in retrospect we see quite, the trajectory that life had that life had planned for us, that we had absolutely no control over, but we just kind of followed what felt right, and then it all panned out in the end, and it became clear in the end why it happened in the order it did. So buying this place, for example, the Dragonfly B&B in Glastonbury, was a really weird thing, because I it was at the time when I kind of knew my marriage was coming to an end, and I was looking for a place to put down roots or somewhere else to be, and it was actually my intention to buy a small flat on the high street, and that was really that was really problematic. It took an entire year to buy that place, and in the middle of that process it was all off, because my mortgage provider said, well, it's not worth what you're paying for it, so we can't lend you the money to buy it. So I was about 10 grand short. So I went back to the lady who was selling it to me and I said, look, I'm really sorry, but I can't buy it because the mortgage provider won't lend me the money that I need to buy it, because they're saying it's not worth what you're charging for it. So she was like, oh, okay. So she put it back on the market just to rent it out for a little while until we got things sorted. And in the meantime, this is about a 4-month period, and I saw the Dragonfly, this place, and I thought, oh, well, maybe I just need to change tack. Maybe I need to buy a different kind of building. I didn't really have in mind to run a business from it at the time, but I just somehow knew that I needed to change tack and perhaps buy a different kind of building which had different options, that had a few more options to it. So I came across the Dragonfly, and the lady I bought it off was lovely, and she was probably 10 years older than me, I would say. And she was at that stage in life. She'd been through the stages of life that I'd been through, and she was coming out the other side, and she'd got to a point where she was like, okay, done my time in Glastonbury. I've loved running an Airbnb and it's been great, but now it's time for me to move on and she was an artist, and she needed somewhere else to inspire her, so she moved to Dorset, I think. But anyway, we kind of connected because she was an artist. She'd been through the same life experience as I did, and she said to me, it's really nice because I feel like I'm passing this place on to a younger version of me. And she was so lovely. It was a really lovely experience. And I didn't realise that she'd been running it as an Airbnb until I got into that purchase process with her. And then she goes, oh yeah, I've been running it as an Airbnb for 20 years. And I'm like, So I'm like, well, if it ain't broke, why fix it? Why don't I just carry on doing that? It's got a name for itself. It's a way for me to earn an income, which obviously I'm going to need going it alone. So I just thought, I'm just going to carry on.
And there's synchronicity, and
that's it.
It's interesting because in the time I've stayed here, which is coming up for a year now, I've met guests who've been when it was owned by her.
Yes, yeah.
So it has continued, and you've developed it and grown it.
Yeah.
And in a space like Glastonbury, which is spiritual, where there's all sorts of guests that come through here. It's actually wonderful.
I mean, that's been the wonderful thing, and it's kind of what inspired the White Mulberry idea a little bit, because as I noticed the kind of people that were coming to stay at the B&B, it was like, oh, there's all these people that they're all of a similar kind of bent, do you know what I mean? They've all got a spiritual leaning, they're all very community driven, they're very into collaborative projects and stuff. And I'm like, well, wouldn't it be great if all these people actually got to know each other? Because they're all coming to stay at the B&B, they've all got things in common, they're all quite of a same vein. So wouldn't it be great if they all got to know each other and had a space that could provide a means for them to connect with each other should they want to, collaborate on a project or whatever like that. So I think a lot of the people that are going to be invited to become members of the White Mulberry Network will be people who have stayed here. Yeah. So, and that's what got me thinking about it. I just thought, well, there's so many like-minded people out there with some great ideas, but a lot of them don't know each other exist at the moment. So I need to sort of put together a platform that will pull people together and connect them. So that's what got me thinking about the White Mulberry. And really, like, the Dragonfly B&B has become almost like a pilot project for the White Mulberry, really. So it has been very synchronous, and things have just
it's almost, I've been talking about this recently actually. There comes a state, because all my stuff's about manifestation, and after studying it for, I think it's 36 years now, there comes a stage where you realise you can manifest, and then there comes a stage beyond that where you realise anything you manifest isn't always fulfilling, and so therefore something evolves and life works through you. And with you, it's almost as if you haven't realised that life's evolved and it's worked through you. That's just happened without you consciously going, what do you want from me, source? What do you want from me, God? Or whatever it is that you call it.
That's it.
It's as if it's happened without you've gone to that next level of manifestation without even realising you had.
And quite often you will point out to me, you do realise you manifested that, Laura. You know you did that, right? And I'm like, did I?
Oh, we've done a lot together. we've done a lot of manifestation together, and we've had our fair share of oh my God, just to explain it, we've set a lot of intentions, we've done a lot of manifestations together, and then when you move towards what you're manifesting, you have to come face to face with anything that's not in the way, and we've not done it gently, have we?
No, it's been quite hardcore.
We have really gone for it, and we've had times when life's given us a right smack and gone, well, you're going to have to face this now if you want that.
That's the thing I've really discovered through the manifestation journey, which I'm still really kind of learning and getting to grips with. But the one thing I've learned is basically, you ask for something and then the universe kind of goes, are you sure you want that? And hits you with something to test you.
Yeah, because we have to clear this first.
Yeah, that's
if you want that. So, for example, let's use a generic example. Let's say somebody's watching and they want to find a really good relationship. I mean, you mentioned self-love before. And if you want a good relationship, you really need to love yourself.
Yeah.
So, you're going to ask. And then, I don't know, I call it source, universe, there's God. You're going to ask, can I have a loving relationship? Well, you're going to get an answer and say, well, do you love yourself then? And then you're going to get all these life circumstances that you've created already that's going to show you where you didn't love yourself.
Yeah.
Come right and hit you in the face.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you think you're not going to get your love. You think you're not going to get what you've asked for because you're right in the middle of this, everything that's showing you that's the opposite of what you've asked for. But actually that's the actual manifestation. That's the magic.
That's the process. And I think it's really important for people not to lose faith at that point.
But we all do.
It could be really easy to go, oh my God, it's never going to happen to me. It's all terrible.
Yes. But that seems to be part of the process because I've been doing this for 36 years and I still get to that phase. It seems to be the letting go phase. It seems to be the I'm never getting this, I don't care anymore phase when you just let go of it and then it comes in.
Yes. I think it's just letting go of the clinging, isn't it? The grasping and the clinging. Once you let go of that, the universe kind of goes, all right, here you go. And then it sort of falls into place. But we forget that when we're in the midst of that
and that's
horrible
where
bit.
Community comes in. That's where, because I know for me now I've got enough to draw on to go, oh, last time this happened, or last time I got to hear, or last time. But if we've got community around us, reminding us and saying, hey, remember, this is what happens, and that's what you're creating.
Yeah. I think it's really important to have people to bounce ideas off because I think I touched on it before, but I think we do tend to get stuck in our own little feedback loops.
Yeah.
And it's really important at that point when we're kind of going down that spiral of, getting sucked into our own little brain of
and you need
funky
to trust
brain.
them. I mean, you pulled me up on something just this last week, and because I trust you, I listen to you. But if you'd have been somebody else, I might not have, because we built up a rapport and a relationship. So you said to me, Joanne, are you doing that? Are you letting yourself get distracted over there because you're scared to create this over here and go to the next level? And because I know you and because I trust you, I was able to go, that stings a bit, but she's right. And that if you build community that you trust, you're always going to go, well, actually, so this person's triggering me a bit, but deep inside, I know what they're really like.
That, yeah. And quite often when somebody triggers you a little bit like that and it feels a bit ouchy and a bit spiky, it's because you need to take notice and you need to take the lesson from it. Yeah. And that's one of the really lovely things because going back to the Indigo Wings project and everything and the building that we're hoping to acquire, fingers crossed.
And I'm just going to say here quickly,